Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining Mixing It Up with MiRealSource. Today we have a lot to talk about. If you are new to attending one of our online classes or the events, there is a questions or a chat section, so feel free to chime in with any questions or participate in the discussion. Using the questions in chat, we'll have that open and responding to your questions verbally, or we can type out responses to you as well. My name is Taylor Fedowa. I do our communications here at MiRealSource as well as our photo program. And joining me, I have Colleen DeLange and our CEO, Dave DeReese.
Hello.
Morning.
All right, so today's topic, we are going to cover, we have a lot to cover, from a little bit of some new fields that have been added into Paragon, some minor changes that we've made, giving everybody works remotely. And we're also going to cover ways that you can coach your sellers in terms of photos and tours, tips for them, because they're not out taking photos every listing like you are. So I have a checklist for you to go through with them and a sample listing of photos that will be helpful for you. So if you have any questions about coaching your seller in terms of that, we're going to talk about, as well as just preparing them for where we are currently in the market, and you know, easing their mind on listing their homes, buying homes, things like that. So Colleen, do you want to say anything?
No, I am excited to be on the variety show with you. I know we've got a lot of great content we're going to be going over, I know it's a different time in the market, but it's great to see people out there still doing so much business.
Yeah. So given all of the business that's being still had, do you want to show basically an update of what's going on in the MLS?
I would love to. So let me go ahead. I'm going to grab our market monitor and let me get out of here. Are you able to see that okay, Taylor?
I am not seeing your screen. Hang on, let me open it up.
All right. Just want to make sure that it's visible. Are you seeing that? Dave, are you seeing my screen, or just the webcams?
Just the webcams.
Yeah, just the webcam still. Maybe I should change presenter.
Yep, that would be good.
All right, there we go. Now we're seeing your screen.
All right, terrific. So you can see the Paragon screen?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I just wanted to show you, obviously we're having to do business a little bit differently right now, being that we're all working remotely, but there's still a lot of business going on out there. And so if you take a look at our market monitor, if I go back, let's say the last 2 days, and I refresh, you can see that there were 304 new listings that were added to the MLS. You can also see 125 listings had price changes. 472 listings over the past 2 days went into the sold status. So business is still being conducted. We have been teaching a lot of the remote agent classes, how to do an entire transaction from beginning to end. And I'm so encouraged by all the positive feedback that we've received. I have a lot of people that are sending us the tours that their sellers are taking, and their photos, and they're thanking us and telling us the great success stories that they're having out there right now. So deals are still getting written. PAs are coming in with a lot of different language, like subject to the buyer walking through the home once the quarantine is lifted. So a lot of creative ways that business is getting done. And if we go to our hot sheet here, I just want to show you, if you've never used the hot sheet, this is a great tool that we have under search, how many deals actually went pending just yesterday. Just yesterday, 114 listings went pending. So business is getting done out there. We just have to be creative in the way that we're doing it. And I'm going to turn it back over to Taylor.
Yeah, so given that information, some of the questions that we've had are, how to talk to your sellers, how to respond to your sellers, what you are able to do. They might be wanting to sell their home, but given everything that's going on, just, give them some confidence in what's happening in the market. The Market Monitor is a great resource for that. And why it would be a great time to list your home, even though all of this is happening. Tours, showings where people are actually coming into your house right now can't be had, but if you've taken our other classes that we've been doing, we've talked about conducting virtual tours, virtual open houses, ways that you can still do that and make everything subject to, once the quarantine is lifted, and an in-person inspection and walkthrough. But given the market right now with inventory still low, it's a great time to list your home, and lots of changes could be happening here for sellers. One example, like we were joking around, is more babies are going to be born, given everybody's locked down in the house. 9 months from now, there's going to be the quarantine babies, and people are going to need to move up and get some bigger houses, get that extra bedroom. What are some of the other ones? Some other
All
ones
this time together, I think there'll be a few more divorces on the rise as well. So there'll be people looking for more homes. So between babies being born, divorces happening, there will be more business coming up, I assure you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, given all of the sickness and the rise in deaths, unfortunately, there could be a lot more houses hitting the market. So right now it is a good time with the inventory low to get that top dollar for your home and just make everything subject to a walkthrough and the inspection. So a few things to ease your seller's mind, coach them there. We're also going to talk about coaching them in terms of taking photos and tours along those lines. But a couple things to keep in mind about this variety show is we have some prizes to give away just to keep it fun. We haven't seen anybody respond to have any questions or anything. Want to make sure everybody can hear us. Could somebody come in and just in the questions or the chat let us know that you are able to hear us? Because normally by now we have a little some questions coming in.
Oh,
okay, yeah. Great. Thank you, Crystal. All right. Just wanted to make sure we're not talking to just each other here. All right. So,
and since we're talking about questions, if you have questions at all, Dave DeReese, our CEO, is going to man the question box for us. And so if you do have any questions today throughout the presentation, or you need a little more clarity, or we went over something quickly, feel free to use that question box. Just type your question in and we'll stop and break for questions as we get them.
Great. Thank you, Colleen. Dave, is there anything that you want to chime in about the current market and what the agents are able to do?
Well, as far as what the agents are able to do, stuff that's coming, and I think is going to be covered in your class later today, the virtual showings and virtual open houses, is we've actually made changes in showing time. They're about halfway through. One is there is now a label for a virtual showing, and there is now in Paragon for open houses a label for virtual open houses. Both of them will soon also have a place to put the URL for a live hosted showing or a live hosted webinar. So I know you guys are going to cover that in depth on your class later this afternoon. So maybe you could let them know how do they get into that class later this afternoon and see these changes that are being made both to showing time and to Paragon.
Sure. Actually, if you want to register for the class, you can do so right inside of Paragon. There is the class schedule, and the virtual showings and open houses are today at noon. It's a 1-hour class, and we're going to basically show you how to create virtual open houses, how to advertise them out, where to put your virtual showings, and we're going to show you some time-saving tips and techniques on getting those set up. So, and you can do that again right from Paragon. You go right to the class schedule. If your broker has its own homepage, you may need to switch over to where it says MLS or board. Again, if you log into your page kind of like this, if your broker has
we're not seeing that. We're just seeing the webcams.
All right.
There you go.
Can you see that now? So if your broker has its own homepage, you can actually switch over to the MLS or board, and that will be where you find the class schedule. Once you click on class schedule, that's where you can register for any of our webinar classes, but the one Dave was just referring to is the virtual showings and open houses, and that is today at noon. So you can register right from there. And I think I can probably send out the link to everyone that's on the call today, and they can actually register that way too.
Okay, we have another question. They want to know, is that a real clock over Colleen Chopin?
Yes, it's a real clock. I actually stopped the clock because it kept chiming when we were in these webinars. So yes, it is a real clock. It actually has a lot of storage inside. And so, but you do notice that the time is wrong, and it's just because I stopped it because it was chiming when we were doing these webinar calls. Good question though.
Rick has a question, which is good, talking about being able to count the amount of hits or people that are actually looking or at your tours and showing time.
As far as registering,
not maybe hits per se would be the right word, but it would kind of be like scheduling a showing of people who are interested if they watch the tour. So you get an idea to share with your sellers?
Yes, and that's we bring that up at a good point, because we're going to talk about more about that in the noon class. The reason we want people to still keep going to showing time is we do want to track the amount of interest. We want to see how many people are scheduling those go and show appointments to see the virtual tours, because let's face it, when this is over, and hopefully it won't be too much longer, when this is over and this is lifted, I want to be able to communicate with those people right through showing time. I want to be able to tell them if I've reduced the price. And so it is really important that we still keep encouraging people to go to showing time so we can see how many showings we had on our property, and so we can do things like send out mass messaging if we've reduced a property, or if we want to reach out to those agents and let them know that they can go into the home when the quarantine is lifted. So I still want to draw them into showing time. I want to see how many showings were scheduled, and that's why we're encouraging everyone to do that. Good question.
Yeah, really good question. All right, so we're gonna have some, I got a trivia question for you guys. The way to participate in the trivia is I'm just gonna verbally ask you the question, use the questions and chat section. The first person to get the answer right is gonna win a prize. Your lovely prize today is a spa basket with bath bombs, scrubs, shower gels, all that essential oils. That will be mailed to you. So if you get the answer right, I will follow up with an email to the winner, and then the winner is going to I will just send me your address, and we will shoot this basket over to you. And given Prime is usually only a couple days, hopefully it comes to you within a couple days, but they are shipping essential items first, so it could be a few extra days on top of that. But something relaxing for you guys. You can have a nice relaxing bath, given everything going on, if you would like, or give this to somebody special in your life if you are not a bath person. So the first question that we're going to ask, let me open up my questions real quick. Oh, I don't think I didn't share my screen of the prize.
Nope, we were hoping to see it.
Yeah, I gotta get used to that.
I know bouncing it back and forth between the webcams is a little tougher.
Yeah. All right, so look at this pretty basket you guys are gonna get. Don't know if it comes with the lavender flowers or not, but let's hope it does.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Since we're home, I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, might need to relax a little bit. And I don't know if anybody's used the bath bombs, but those are definitely fun. Especially my daughter, she likes them. So we have some kid ones that she likes to to have when she has her baths. But
Jake
all right.
too.
So the first question for our trivia today is going to be, what tool does MiRealSource provide to our agents / members to promote their listings on social media without any advertising of other agents or other properties? What is the tool that we provide to you guys to use? Rebecca, technically you are right. She put, let me make sure, yep, she put list track. List track is where we originally always stored our single property websites. And the answer is single property website, but for the longest time, except for the last year, it was always stored in list track for you. So we always called it our list track single property website. So Rebecca, you are right. So let me write your name down. Good job. And I'm going to show you guys where you can find that.
While you're doing that, we had a little bit, before you started this, we had a question. Has either of you used the new virtual showing option from Showing Time? And I think that Colleen not only has used it, but Colleen, I think you did a video, short video about how to set that up in Showing Time. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, if you go and Taylor, can you also show them under resources how we have added, we've added a place that you can go and watch those videos. We have also heard, as we've been doing these webinars, we've been doing them almost every day and multiple times a day. Everybody says, hey, can you record those and can we go back to them? So yes, all of these, even our mixing it up right now, is being recorded, and we've now put them right under resources. You'll also find that video that I did, the 4-minute video on using the seller virtual tours, where to add them, how to put them into Showing Time. I have had good success. I actually received an offer that is stated on the offer that it was subject to the buyer walking through. So yes, we're having very good success. A lot of agents are sending us the seller video. We show you how to put it in there. Also, in the class coming up at noon, we're going to show you how to not only get the seller footage, but then to take that and to turn it into a link in something like YouTube, how to get it from the seller. So we're going to show you a lot of that. But yes, those videos are now available, and you can see exactly how to add those virtual tours in. I have had good success with them myself. And if you go to where Taylor just showed you, if you go into Paragon under resources, that'll link you to that place where you can find all those recorded webinar videos.
Okay,
Can we take the webinar videos out where I look so chubby? Can we get rid of those?
Yeah, I thought we had to remove some of the embarrassing outdated ones from a long time ago here.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have that 80s hair, but you know, the chubby ones we could probably get rid of.
Okay, we have another question.
Hang on one second, Dave. I know Colleen, but right here is where you can also register for all these classes that we're talking about. You don't have to just do it in the homepage. And that should be single sign-on for you because you're already registered signed in Paragon.
It's not too late to register for the noon class.
Yes, yep, I responded to that one too. People, you can respond, or you can sign up for this class all the way up to a couple minutes before, because we have it, I think, capped out at 1,000 people can attend the class. So you guys are welcome to join in up to a couple minutes before. So, and then the recorded webinars, that goes to our YouTube channel, which we have playlists on here, and we have them all organized for you there. And then we also have online courses you can take too on a lot of our products.
Then we had a question if these classes were good for continuing education, and that would be a no. They're just for your benefit. They're not going to count for your continuing education.
Colleen, what's the listing? So I'm going to pull up the single property website for everybody to see real quick before we jump into coaching our sellers.
The listing address you want?
Yeah.
Is 50839 Marsha.
50839.
And I want you to know I put special captions and descriptions in there because you showed me how to do that in your photo class.
We have a question that says their resources does not show classes. That might be because they're one of our vendor MLSs, maybe.
That could be.
Yeah, every member should see it. So it could possibly be a restriction set. We could talk to Brian about that, see how he wants to handle that.
Well, we'd have to talk to our vendor MLSs if they want that.
Yeah, we didn't add that for the vendors. So if you're not strictly a MiRealSource member, if you're, let's say, with East Central or you're with the Southeastern border, you may not see those there yet because we have to get their permission to add it there.
So the single property website that Rebecca got the question right is going to be on every single one of your listings. You'll see this little house with a check mark. So every listing that you put in within the same day, you have a single property website for you to then promote on social media. As mentioned, you don't have any advertising from other agents or other properties. It's all about you. So you can quickly share on your Facebook page, Twitter, Pinterest. You can shoot it over as an email, LinkedIn, or just text the link up in your browser to somebody. Those are your options there. And what's really nice is the virtual tours that we talk about in the classes are also all plugged in here. And we are working on doing the virtual open house field too that will be available. Our website developer is going to be adding a field for virtual open houses if they're scheduled in Paragon. So we'll briefly talk about that here at the end, but something to look forward to. So the single property website is a great resource for you guys. I'm glad to see several correct answers on that, you guys. So, all right.
Okay, we have one person that says they still can't see it in Paragon. So what we'll do is can Colleen, you get back with her after the class sometime today?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, are we good on most of the questions so we can move on?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this single property website, we revamped it the last year and a half or so. So it's a newer look and feel, but we've had the single property website and it was in ListTrack for probably 4 or 5 years, available for our members. But the single property quick action link right here, that's only been there about a year and a half. Good questions. All right, so in terms of coaching our sellers, we are going to, we recommend that they take the photos since you can't leave your house, they can't leave their house, but you can still get these homes listed. So one of the questions that we had is, what about in a past class was, what if my seller would rather have somebody else take the pictures and wants to wait? Well, if they want to wait, that's obviously their prerogative. But if you want to encourage them and build that confidence, what we've done is, kind of go create a checklist for you to follow. It's attached in the class. But I'm going to go through the checklist briefly real quick with you guys. These are just some basic things that I go over with the agents in the photos class that I teach. And they're all things broken up into the room to just go through. Of course, you want to have your house clean, but there's a difference between having your house clean and picked up and being photo ready so that they can have the best look and feel for their photos. And you can share all of this with them, send them this checklist. So from the kitchen, you would remove all cords and chargers, just little things that you don't think about versus just cleaning your kitchen. Visually, it's good to have all appliances off the counter except for maybe one. Remove mail and magnets from the fridge and the counters. Hanging towels on the stove and the dishwasher below the sink is good. Just setting it up so that it's more photo ready. Remove anything on top of the fridge that isn't decorative, like cereal. Sometimes you see cereal boxes, things like that up there. Fruit, flowers, if they go to the grocery store and they want to get a bundle or a bouquet of flowers, or they have any kind of staging flowers. That's always nice for a pop of color. And remove the soaps and sponges at the sink. So little things that they can do to take the best possible photos, and you can give this to them. From the living room, it's all broken down, but a couple of the ones that I think a lot of people overlook is just, you know, turning on the fireplace, turning off the TV. Lighting is a big thing. And taking your interior photos midday is nice because the sun is high in the sky and it's not coming in too harshly in the windows. And you know, giving them those kind of guidelines, as well as following these moving forward for you. Big thing that I've noticed going and taking photos is a lot of times people are moving in the process, and they're home and they're taking or they know you're there taking pictures, or they're getting ready. Right now they're going to be the ones taking pictures, of course, but as they're packing up, they need to have a designated spot for their boxes. Also a nice designated spot for kids' toys and always have them shoot away from those spots, of course. So basically kind of a useless spot in the room that they don't care if that corner gets in a shot. From the bathroom, a lot of it is kind of common sense from just cleaning, but removing, you know, closing the toilet seat, things like that. But it's just clearing off that counter space and just making it look clean and photo ready. And then just some other little tips for you guys are on here.
Hey, Taylor, can you make that a little bit bigger on the screen?
Just a little. Is that better? It's going to be, some things are going to be cut off, but
That's good.
yeah. Bedrooms, declutter the floor space, make the beds, dust furniture, things like that they would probably do anyways before they're going to take pictures, is just cleaning their house. But one thing that I recommend too is removing name plaques. Those are really popular right now in kids' bedrooms, baby bedrooms. This is all going to be on public sites with the address. So I like to recommend that people remove their child's name that's sign that's on above their crib or above their bed or something. Then dining room and entrance, make sure the rugs are straightened. I see that a lot actually, where a rug is kind of folded back in the picture, something to easily overlook. Pattern tablecloths do not photograph well, so they have that, remove those. Hide shoes, bags, purses all at the front door. Things that you can just really easily overlook when you're living in the house. And right now we're just really stuck in the house. So the seller can really easily overlook these things being in the house all day, every day before they take pictures. Some other tips is turn on all lights, open windows and blinds. Now, if the sun is coming in really harsh, you can close the blinds a little bit and angle them up towards the ceiling, and that will filter light down below without leaving streaks of blinds on the carpet too much.
Okay, we have a question about where can they find this document?
It's attached in this class, so the handouts for this class.
Right in the GoToWebinar panel, if you open those panels where it says, what is it labeled under handout? If you open that up, if you expand it, you'll be able to actually click on it, open it. You can follow along with Taylor, or you can print it, save it so you have it later. We'll also be putting this in MLS documents, so you will be able to print it from there too.
Yep.
And we had a question about what if the seller lives somewhere else and not in the house. Per the governor's order, that would mean that you can't do it right now because you can't go take the photos and you can't have somebody else go take the photos. So unfortunately, you'd be stuck waiting for the order to be lifted in that situation, unless the seller that owns the home was visiting their home for some other reason and took the photos, but we can't go and take the photos.
Good question. So definitely something to review for yourself as well when this is lifted and you can go take photos. You can provide this to your sellers. That's what is actually what I recommend, is this is something you give to your sellers anyways. Follow it perfectly, but at least it saves you time taking pictures. And now this is a great way to coach your sellers, build that confidence of ways to get ready to take pictures, so that they feel that they're doing their home justice. You know, they're hiring you, they trust you to do these things. So now they need that extra little motivation and guidance. So these tips and this checklist will be really helpful for you. Another thing that I recommend in terms of tours, which we can show Colleen's tour that she did. She actually did it before the shelter in place went down, but really good example of walking through a home and how you would experience it as if you were touring the house. So the seller can go into, I'm gonna pull, if that's okay, Colleen, I'm gonna pull up your tour real quick again.
Please.
And what she did here is, your seller doesn't have to do this. They actually don't even have to talk at all. That's probably best, unless they're just gonna narrate what they're taking a video of. But in this video, right before I show you, Colleen starts at the entrance, walks through the home, and just sort of pans through the room, how you would experience touring it. That's something your seller should do. There's something that's nice about each room, like the fireplace or the hardware. They can get to that room, pan, and slowly get closer to that nice sink, the marble countertops, that fireplace, and then back out, move on to the next room that it connects to. So they would experience it how they would walk through the home. Entrance, main rooms, bathroom on that floor, the bedrooms, bathroom with that bedroom, work your way outside or the basement, then outside, garage, and kind of make a full circle for the tour. So that's something to recommend for your sellers as well. But here's a quick, I'm not gonna play the whole video, but quick idea of how Colleen did her virtual tour herself.
New listing and apps from Lake St. We have an entrance to the 1.5. Stepping inside here, we have an entrance to the 1.5 car garage. We walk right into the living room. It does have a gas fireplace. And then just off to the left, we have a full first floor bathroom. And then just over here, we have a dining room just off the kitchen. It's very neutral decor. Just outside, you have a spacious deck. And right beyond those trees is Lake St. Clair.
So that's a good example of how everything connects in this. You know, this is a 2-bedroom condo, Colleen.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, how it all works in that space, you can do that, or follow, you know, the main rooms and pairing. But I do like how you showed each room and how it connected to the next space and how you would walk through it. So that's something that you could recommend for your seller in terms of tours. You don't want them being the salesperson or talking about details on the property, just, you know, silent or narrating the space that they're in, zooming in on maybe nice features if they would like, and then the checklist for them to follow. Once you have that tour and you have the photos, I'm going to show you an example listing that I have with captions and descriptions. So the captions and descriptions are really important right now. They're important all the time, but especially right now where people cannot go to the homes. They are limited to the photos and the tours until this is lifted and they can walk through the home before they buy it. So this is really this is a really big selling feature. When you go in and you add your listing and you add your pictures, you can upload multiple photos at a time. I believe it's actually 69 photos at a time, so that's nice. They'll all load right there for you. And you can rearrange them in whatever order you would like after. So based on that recommendation, it's how you would experience the home walking through it. The main entrance of some sort, the living space that connects to that entrance that you chose, whether I chose the mudroom here, whether it's a foyer or the mudroom, the main room that it attaches to, and then a couple different angles. Some close-up shots are always nice to do with features once you're in that room. Move along to the main level, might be a ranch, but hypothetically, if it's not a ranch, the main level, and then work your way upstairs to the bedrooms, the bathroom that pairs with that bedroom, and so on, and complete that whole circle, walking outside, basement. So once you've uploaded your photo and you have it in the order that you like, you can edit the pictures. There's a little red pen right here called Edit Image, and this is where you can rotate and crop your pictures.
Hey, we had a question that said my client took pictures and they look too wide. How do I correct them? Is this where they could correct them? Can they edit them right here?
The only editing that you can do here is the rotation and crop. If for some reason too wide, if the photos are too wide, that is just in the body of the camera how it was taken. But if for some reason it's stretched, like the resolution or the dimensions of the photo, that could be something that you could edit in like a photo, like the free photo software, I think, in your on your computer, or something that allows you to edit the dimensions of a photo. But if the photo is complete, if they took it with a fisheye or something, then there's nothing you can do in terms of fixing that.
Well, during this restriction, this quarantine, if I had a photo and it was too wide, at a minimum, I could just crop it and use it for now. When the order is lifted, we can always worry about getting better photos later.
Yeah, a crop, but Dave, I don't want people to confuse a crop with a stretched out photo. Just because if the photo is stretched out, then a crop isn't gonna fix that, unfortunately. So that's why coaching your sellers and the photos that they take is really important. I do not recommend using any kind of wide attachment to your phone or to your camera, and or fisheye lenses by any means, because what it is what it is. Now, if the seller took the photo and they saved it, and for some reason the dimensions are stretched, that's something that you can fix. But they could very well have to just retake the photos depending on what tool they use.
Should you recommend that they take if they're taking them with their their phone, should they do it vertical or landscape?
I usually still do vertical, but I have the extra wide lens on my camera. So you can still do landscape if you would like. Just have to keep in mind that when you do landscape, the orientation could be coming through upside down. So if that happens, that's where this tool is really helpful, because if they do take it landscape one way, I don't know if my webcam is showing me or not. Is it showing me?
Yeah.
It is, okay. So if they take it this way, or landscape horizontally, and then they take it this way, when the camera or when the phone is not upright with the lens at the top, the camera does not know the orientation. It will flip on the screen for you, but the file itself could be upside down. So that's where the rotation here comes in handy. And if, you know, the seller does take photos and there's things that just don't need to be in the picture, or just too much got in the picture for some reason, you can crop. But if the photo is stretched per that one question, that is something that is just in the data of the file, and that is something that has to be changed if the dimensions were screwed up upon saving. But if not, and they use some sort of attachment, fisheye, that's just, it's
Is
just
there,
of
if
the
you're,
photo.
if they're using their, for example, if they're using their iPhone, if they had it set to panoramic, can they take it off of panoramic and have a better result?
Yes, yes. Panoramic, I don't dislike panoramic, but I think that if you're going to be doing panoramic for every single one of your photos, that's going to look really stretched out. Where if they do all of their photos and then maybe save a panoramic for the end of the kitchen and the living room and how everything connects, that's fine. But if you're gonna do that definitely stretches out the look of the photo, and a panoramic shot can't be undone.
Okay. And then
Okay.
the other question we had was, what's the recommended length of the video? I would think that you wouldn't want it to be too big for lots of reasons. You don't want it too long for lots of reasons.
I recommend, Colleen's was like 3.5, and I would say that that's on the, you know, average size. It probably could have been a little bit shorter, but depending on the size of the house, you could, you know, try not to go over maybe 4 minutes. But ideally, the best, the length of a video is recommended to be 2 to 3 minutes for promotional purposes. Just with the attention span, get the meat and potatoes of what you need to tell people. However, this is not necessarily a promo video. It's a tour of maybe a 4-bedroom house. So it could be longer than 4 minutes, but I'd try to keep it definitely under 4 to 5 minutes if you can.
And if they want to get into real detail, that would be where the photos, if they include the labels in the descriptions, it would allow people to linger on each photo and read the labels and descriptions and get a more in-depth feel for the house.
Yeah, the captions and descriptions, which I was just about to go into, is definitely where I have a good example of a listing. I won't go through every single photo like I normally do because I don't want to run over too much, but how I use these captions and descriptions to really sell features of the home. So let's go into that so that we can we don't run over and hold you guys too long. So for example, right here, I just added a label. The label needs to be short and sweet, the room that you're in, and then the description should be 1 to 3. Well, 1 sentence is fine, but depending on the space and what you're taking pictures of, this is your selling point right here. So an extremely useful mudroom with custom built-in bench, hangers, backpack for hangers, for backpacks, purses, briefcases, and more, an office space for bills, receipts, allowing your kitchen counters to be free of clutter, as well as a large walk-in pantry coat closet. So I added that paragraph to that photo. I'm going to show you guys the actual listing real quick, because me just telling you the descriptions without the photo isn't as appealing. The way this comes through is on HomeSnap, single property website, gallery view, collab center. They're going to see these descriptions on anything that these potential buyers are set up on. Here's where that description of the mudroom is, right there. Use the same description, just a different shot of the mudrooms. Now I go into the kitchen. Wouldn't you love to cook a delicious meal here? Beautiful, fully updated kitchen with tons of counter space and soft closed cabinets. Things that they don't necessarily know unless they are at the property. So that's your opportunity to write a little something extra about the home and ask your sellers about the kitchen and what are some nice features, so that you can take notes on that.
And if it's a room that it's not obvious where the room would be on what level of the house, like it's a bedroom and you don't know which level, include what level the room is on in the house.
Yeah, perfect example here. Let me find right here. I talk about how this breakfast nook connects, or this eating area also connects to a formal dining room. So that's mentioned here. But let me get to the one photo. So you see this photo here. This is what I call a transitional photo, just kind of giving you another angle of the space, but it's giving you a little teaser of something else. And then right here is where I say the lower level office space near living room, a nice space to read, relax, or work from home. So using these captions and descriptions to highlight the features of the home, experience of living in the home, like wouldn't you love to cook a meal here with this big island and entertain your friends and family? Little features of the home right here, like the covered style ceilings. Let's see, what did I say here? The marble countertops, they're able to see that. The archways, it's in the photo, but I'm also highlighting all of that. And just using these captions and descriptions to really set the tone of the house and sell the features. And you can get the photos from your seller and go through them and take notes and ask, you know, a little bit more about the property too before you write these descriptions, because you, just like a potential buyer, have not seen this home. You are just looking at photos. And you want to write those lovely descriptions for potential buyers. All right.
We had a question. Is this being recorded and where would I go to find the recording?
Yes.
Yes, it is being recorded. Takes about a couple hours for the video to render on this GoToWebinar platform, and then we usually post them on YouTube the next day or so. So those recorded webinars that were under resources in Paragon that we showed you, they will be there. Now, if something is outdated in the one that we talk about, given everything that's changing, we will remove it, because if something is not it's outdated, we're giving inaccurate information at that point. So if this one for some reason next week becomes outdated for something that we said, it could be removed. But most of the stuff we're talking about today is relevant for now as well as in the future.
And some of the people were saying that they were having difficulty finding that under their resources tab. Brian is looking, that's something we just added this week. So he's taking a look at that right now. But by the end of the day, if you don't see it, now again, you'll have to be a MiRealSource member if you're with one of the vendor boards and you're watching this, you won't see it. But if you're with MiRealSource as a MiRealSource member, you should see it by the end of the day under resources. He's checking that now.
And Colleen, you can check with the vendor MLSs and see if they would like us to put it on their site.
I will do that today.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to hand it off to you, to Colleen, to talk about a couple of the fields we changed and the virtual open houses.
Great.
Wait,
if you
got one more. We got one more question.
Presenter too, Taylor.
Oh, yep, sure.
We got another question. The question is, what is the best way for our sellers to send over all of the pictures to us?
Great question. One way I recommend is through Google Drive. They can pretty much everybody has a Google email. They can upload their photos. You just go to Google Drive. They can add folders under they just sign into their Google email, and they can upload photos into a folder that they make there, and they can send you that link and you can download those photos right on your computer. That's probably the best way to do that, because you're going to be adding it to the MLS and you're going to be using your computer. So Google Drive is something that I use a lot, doing photos with people, hiring professional photographers, or doing photos myself for people. I've used Google Drive, add a folder for them with their name. I upload their 30 photos or whatever, and then send them that link for them to download. So that's something I recommend, is using Google Drive. The only thing you have to have for Google Drive is a Google email.
We have another question wondering if we can put together, like you did for the how to take photos, is there a way we could put a document together that we can help the seller know how to send these and give directions, like a recipe, how to do it?
Yeah, there's actually already an article about that on our website, that I wrote a long time ago about working with your photographer or working with an admin, to use like Dropbox, Google Drive, things like that to share photos. So yes, there is an article. I will find it so you guys have it, step-by-step directions for you. So while Colleen's going through her stuff, I will find that article for you guys.
Terrific. And keep in mind, one thing that we should point out too is when you're getting these photos from the seller, you want to make sure that you are using the copyright form, because remember, whoever, and I learned this at Taylor's great photography class, whoever takes the picture owns the copyright to the photo. So in our MLS documents, which is right up here where you see my mouse, where you can find a lot of our resources, as well as Transaction Desk, you can find the copyright photo form that you need, and that gives you the permission to advertise someone else's photos, because remember, the seller's taking them, they own them, so you do have to get permission to use them in your marketing. So make sure you add that to the forms you're going to have that seller sign. So a couple things I wanted to mention is right now there are a few temporary changes that have been put into place to allow you to work more efficiently with the seller. One of them is, obviously we don't want to have to ask our sellers to get the room measurements for property. So right now, just temporarily, we are lifting the requirement where you had to put in room measurements for all the rooms in your listings. We are lifting that so the seller does not have to walk around and measure the property. The other thing we wanted to talk about, and I'm going to let Dave talk about this, is we right now have a temporary active no-show policy. Temporarily, we're letting you, obviously we can't have people walking through the homes at this point. Dave, do you want to talk about our temporary active no-show?
In the past, we've had the rule that if it was going to be active in the MLS, it had to allow for in-person showings. So obviously right now, the governor's order does not allow in-person showings. And so that has been waived temporarily. What we do highly, highly recommend is that you find a way to get the video and the photos with the labels and descriptions in there. The other three requirements we have is that you mention it in the public remarks, that it can't be shown right now, but they can review the videos and the photos, and that you put in the agent remarks that you invite them to make an offer subject to the buyer getting to go through the property after the order's been lifted, and that you make sure that you put it in showing time the correct way. And I think that's something that they're going to talk about at the noon class about virtual showings. So showing time, you make sure it says what it needs to say in showing time.
Correct. And just one last reminder, and then Taylor's going to give away our last prize, is when you're going into your listings, you want to make sure when you click on maintain listing, you want to make sure that you're adding your unbranded tour, meaning that if your seller walks through, that there's no contact information given of any kind. But where you're adding that, because I know we had some questions on that, is you're going to go down into maintain your listing, or basically where you would edit information in your listing. You're going to go to compensation and tours, and you will see 4 different tour links. The ones that say virtual tour and video tour, you want to make sure those are your unbranded, containing no contact information. What Taylor was showing you that I did, because I actually used my name, my brokerage, and my phone number, that is a branded tour. So remember, you want to put anything with contact information into the branded. Anything that your seller sends you, you want to go ahead and make sure if there's no contact information, you want to put that in your video and virtual tour. And then lastly, as Dave mentioned in our noon class, we're going to show you how to go into showing time and set your properties to automatically, when someone requests to see information on that property or requests a showing, it sends out things like additional attachments. It's gathering their information so you can send notifications. We're going to show you how to go into showing time and how to set your properties to deliver those virtual tours under accessing detail information.
Okay, we have a question. I think it's regarding the virtual tour and video tour. The question is, do you put the same link in both spots? No, you don't have to put the same link in both spots. The reason that there's more than one is because in the past we've had people that did the interior video of the house, but then they did a drone video of the outside of the house from an aerial perspective. Or we've had people that have hired a Matterport photographer. Obviously, you can't do that now under the governor's order, but soon after the governor's order is lifted, if you wanted to have a Matterport type of camera, which is where that shows the floor plan and you can walk through virtually through the house, there's that. So the reason there's more than one spot is because you can have more than one type of video tour or virtual tour. And so that's why we've provided more than one spot.
Perfect. And then also today in the noon class, we'll show you the new virtual open house that can be added within Paragon right under open houses in your listing. So again, a lot of great stuff coming up today at the noon class. We're going to cover how to do more property promotion, how to schedule your virtual open house, how to schedule those virtual property showings, where they should be put, how to get that information from the seller. So we're going to cover all that in the noon class. With that, I know we ran a little bit over. So if you have any questions that we didn't answer, put them in the question panel right now. And I think Taylor's going to, I think she's going to give away our last prize. I'm a little jealous. I love the last basket. That was awesome.
I know, it's the same thing. So got the same, yeah. Doing these weekly, I gotta think of a weekly prize. So keeping it the same, but how many classes does MiRealSource offer to our members? And this is just the titles of our classes in general, whether it's a recorded webinar or in-house. We offer all 3 styles of classes, but how many classes does MiRealSource offer to our members? Tons. I like that. I like that question answer.
Should we take the closest?
Yeah, let's see. All right, Michelle, you are the closest. So we have 18 classes that we offer, including these 2 new classes. Of course, we have a lot of other custom classes, some advanced Paragon classes, shortened Paragon classes with different, where they're only like, I think Debbie's on, some of them are only like a half hour long or an hour long, but just in general, we have 18 classes. So to know what classes we have an MLS GPS, which is under services on our website. I'm sharing my screen, right, Colleen? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Oh, by the way, this is the article. I posted it in the chat, but you can visit our website. This is the article with the cheat sheet of how to upload photos into Google Drive and share them between, you, doesn't say seller, but you and an admin. So replace that with seller. Step-by-step examples of what you would do. So this is on our website under articles, blogs, and the article name is called Streamline Your Real Estate Photography. Okay. Now, the MLS GPS, back to education, our services. We have popular documents, and this is something that we talk about a lot, but we have a real estate technology certification that you can get through MiRealSource, which this allows, this handout gives you an idea of all the classes that we have and a suggested order to take them. Of course, you don't have to take them in this order, but these are all the classes minus all of the new virtual tour class that we have done and the remote agent class, and then these mixing it up, so not on here. But all of the classes that we offer, general classes that we offer, are here on the MLS GPS, which you can get on our website, and a good place to start and follow. And once you've completed 20 credits, each class is worth 2 credits. So once you've completed 20, you get that certification, and it can be in terms of as long as you've signed up through it being online, webinar, or a regular standard class, then you get the credit for it.
Okay, we had another question about where to find these, and I guess Brian's been working on resources. So I think what we'll have to do is, Colleen, can we send out an email to everybody that was on this class with better directions on where they'll be able to find the recorded version of this?
Yes, and Brian said he apologizes. He thought he had made it available for everyone, but right now it's still in the staff mode. So that will be made available here shortly. But I will email everybody that's on this call when it is live and ready to go with the link to take you right there.
Right, the answers some of the answers disappeared on my end. It was answer 23. What was the name right there? I'm trying, of the winner.
Oh, I got it, Taylor. I'll give it to you
okay.
right after.
Okay, I just want to write it down, make sure. All right, well, congratulations to our winners, and thank you so much for joining us today for our Mixing It Up with MiRealSource. We'll be doing these every week, so join us, new topics, new whatever's relevant to what's going on, or feedback that we get. If there's something you would like to see us discuss, bring somebody on that would be helpful, or just in general having something that would be, helpful for you guys, go ahead and let us know in the MiRealSources meeting email, that email that you get through GoToWebinar. Just respond directly to that and give us any ideas that would be helpful for you guys.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Yep, this is recorded.
Can we have a quick Zoom meeting?